Alright, welcome back to my top 10 tips for implementing feedback. This is 6 through 10. If you haven't seen 1 through 5, you can do that right here. Let's go. Number 6 is remember your vision. Always keep in mind that ultimately what we listen for in music is emotion, not perfectionism. I've said this before, but I have plenty of favorite bands that are 80% shit and 20% genius, and I love them anyways. For example, I love Korn, even though I really dislike most of their musical choices. But in those few moments when they shift into a great hook, with the right chords and the right sound, that really stands out. In other words, they're playing with that contrast of ugly verses set against strong choruses. So if you wanted parts of your song to sound ugly, don't let someone talk you out of that. In those cases, stick to your vision. Don't argue, just say the magic words, yeah, but that's exactly what I wanted. Number 7, know the difference. With those words, that's exactly what I wanted, comes great responsibility. If you keep hearing the same piece of feedback from different people, especially if you feel like they usually get the sound you're going for, your right to use this line is revoked. It is very likely that you're filling in blanks in your song in another way than your listeners. When you listen to your drums, you hear a big, roomy, powerhouse performance. When they listen to your drums, they hear your shitty MIDI samples. Be aware of the fact that you will always see your own songs through rose-colored glasses, no matter how smart or skilled you are. Number 8, don't get discouraged. It's difficult coming back from a feedback session in which your track was destroyed. I remember a session in conservatory where one of my friends presented a song in class. And once someone pointed out a shortcoming in the writing, the bubble popped and the rest of the class began to tear the song apart. Now you have to understand the social dynamics here. As a writer sitting in that room, this is no longer about improving your song through the magic of brainstorming, it's about surviving the next half hour. It's as if the whole world has turned against you. What's he gonna think on his way home? Man, I'm so excited to change the snare to a clap. No, he's gonna think about whether he should quit. Not just with the song, but studying, or even worse, writing. Now I know there's a big discussion amongst musicians that goes something like, if you can't take criticism, you should quit anyways. Another great one is, the best ones triumph in the face of failure. And both of those are true and I believe in them. I mean, I had many failures in my musical career and I've gotten a lot of negative feedback, but I stuck with it because I love making music and found comfort there, especially in those difficult moments. However, there is a limit. One bad feedback session isn't gonna do much. Maybe you'll stop writing for a week. Big whoop. Even 2, 3, or 4 bad sessions might be okay. But if all you're hearing is how bad your songs are and how great everyone else is, things get hairy. My advice is find solace in the creative process. Don't show your songs to people for a while and win back your confidence. Don't present your songs in big groups and find people that won't completely destroy you. It's okay to turtle up every once in a while. Well, as long as your fans don't notice. Number 9, don't take it personally. You knew this was coming. What no one tells you is that this is virtually impossible. True artists identify with their work. If they didn't, they probably didn't put enough soul into it in the first place. So what can you do if you just had a particularly bad feedback session? Remember this, the person who just gave you feedback has a completely different background than you, and they might not understand your music at all. Some of what they said, they only said because of something they struggle with themselves. On top of that, giving feedback puts them in a position of power and they might have taken advantage of that. None of this makes them a bad person, it just makes them a human being. If you found any of these to be the case, make yourself aware of that. Take what you can from the session and don't look back. It's happened to all of us. I've had enough feedback sessions to know that the next guy might have the exact opposite opinion. And finally, number 10, don't get sidetracked. This last one is actually the reason I wanted to make this video, because this is something I have unknowingly struggled with my entire life. I only recently figured it out while working on my board game about the music industry. You see, I had gotten the same complaint from people about my game pretty much from day one. After every playtest session, I would go home and redesign the game. And the game did get better because of that. But for some reason, I didn't work on solving its core problem, and I kept getting the same feedback. It's so obvious what I should have done. Sit down, take a piece of paper, put that complaint at the top, then write down 3 possible ways to fix it, and try them all out. And you know what? It took me almost 4 months to do that. But ever since I did, I stopped getting that bad feedback, and people have a blast playing. I remember being in similar situations during my time as a film composer. When someone said, this doesn't work so well with the picture here, I would go back and change it, but not in the way I should have. I knew this and didn't do it anyway. I know for a fact that I'm not the only person in the world that has this problem, but I think not enough creative people are aware of it. I've often been in the situation where I've paid someone to mix or to design something and gave feedback on the result, only to get back pretty much the same thing with other, less important details changed. It's extremely frustrating when you feel like you're talking to a wall. Don't be a wall. If you agree with a complaint, don't jump right back into your rewrites. Figure out what the problem is first and then think of solutions for this particular problem. If you can do that, it will be a blast working with you and your songs will improve greatly because of it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Now take care and stay gefährlich.